Welcome to the chemistry class. For second year portions, we have three parts actually: inorganic, organic, and physical. So organic also includes biochemistry. Now we will start with the physical chemistry chapter. The first chapter being chemical kinetics. Chemical kinetics. In this chemical kinetics, we will study the reactions, their velocities, and also the various factors which affect the velocity of the reactions. First, let us consider the reactions. There are three types of reactions. Some reactions are very fast reactions, and some reactions are very slow reactions, and some reactions take place with moderate speed, moderate velocity or speed. So when we consider the reactions which are used in the qualitative analysis, for example, when we want to test with the Ag plus ion, you take the silver nitrate solution. When it is treated with sodium chloride or any chloride solutions, then we observe that AgCl is precipitated immediately along with the formation of NaNO3. So such reactions which take place instantaneously, as soon as we mix the solution of AgNO3 and NaCl, we will immediately get the precipitate of AgCl. That's why such reactions are very fast reactions, which are also named as the instantaneous reactions. Instantaneous reactions. These instantaneous reactions we will not study in this chemical kinetics because their velocities can be measured with much difficulty. They are very fast. As soon as you mix these two, you will get the precipitate. So most of the reactions used in the qualitative analysis are instantaneous reactions. Then coming to the slow process or slow reactions. When you consider the rusting of iron in air, in moist air, it's a very slow process which may take years together. That's why for such slow reactions also we don't study in this chemical kinetics because their velocities are very much lower or slower rates. That's why we cannot study. So we will consider only those reactions in which the velocity can be measured, is measurable. So such reactions are called as the reactions with moderate velocity or moderate speed. Now, when you consider this moderate velocity reactions or reactions which take place at moderate speed, then we have the term velocity, which is defined as the rate of change of concentration. Rate of change of concentration. That is, when you consider the change in the concentration in a given interval of time, the ratio of the change in concentration and change in time is called velocity of the reaction. First, let us take a general reaction A giving rise to B. When we consider this concentration of A, as the time progresses, this decreases. Concentration of A gradually decreases with increase in time. But concentration of B increases with increase in time. This we can understand by using this graph. Suppose this is time taken on the x-axis and concentration taken on y-axis. We observe that initially the concentration of the reactant is very high. As the time progresses, it gradually decreases like this. So this is with respect to the reactant A concentration. When we consider this product, initially its concentration is 0 or very less, which goes on increasing with increase in the time. So this is indicating the concentration of B. Suppose you consider the change in the concentration, it gradually decreases with respect to the reactant. With respect to the product, there is a continuous increase in the concentration. Then while studying this velocity for such reactions, we have actually two types of velocities. One is called the average velocity. The second one is instantaneous velocity. Instantaneous velocity. First, let us consider this average velocity. Average velocity, assume that this is a time t1. I am choosing for the change in the interval t1 and t2. Concentration of A at time t2 is indicated as A2. And concentration of the same reactant in initial time is A1. This change in concentration in a change in time interval is called as the velocity. That is called average velocity. So average velocity is the change in the concentration of a reactant or a product over a large interval of time. Now we can write this average velocity is equal to, now the concentration of the reactant finally is A2 and concentration of the reactant initially is A1. So change in concentration is A2 minus A1 divided by delta T. Sorry, let me write first T2 minus T1. Final time minus initial time, that is time interval. But when we consider this A2 minus A1, A2 is smaller as compared to A1. That's why we will get this velocity a negative value. But never negative, the velocity will be. That's why we have to write a negative sign. So when you write minus of A2 minus A1 divided by T2 minus T1, it is giving rise to the positive velocity. Or in other words, we can write minus delta A divided by delta T. T2 minus T1 is delta T, A2 minus A1 is delta A. Change in concentration of reactant with respect to time, change in time. This is called average velocity. Remember once again, the significance of the minus sign here is, since concentration change is negative with respect to reactant, to make the velocity positive, we are multiplying with negative sign. Similarly, with respect to the product, assume that this is the concentration of B initially, B1, and this is the concentration at T2 is equal to B2. Therefore, the average velocity with respect to the product can be written as concentration of B2 minus concentration of B1 divided by T2 minus T1. Again, B2 minus B1 is delta B divided by delta T. But here already delta B is positive, that's why velocity is positive. Need not multiply with any sign. So average velocity gives rise to the overall change in the concentration over a large interval of time. So to write the expression for the average velocity for particular reactions, let me take some examples. First one, let us take this H2 plus Cl2 giving rise to 2HCl. In case of this hydrogen chloride formation from H2 and Cl2, the decrease in the concentration of H2 is delta H2. Therefore, we can write as average velocity is equal to, with respect to this hydrogen, we write minus delta H2 divided by delta T. With respect to this chlorine, we can write minus average velocity minus delta Cl2 divided by delta T. With respect to the product, we can write average velocity is equal to delta HCl divided by delta T. When we consider these individual substances like H2, Cl2 and HCl, we can write the average velocities like this. But to equate these velocities of one substance with the other one, we observe that the rate of formation of HCl is 2 times the rate of disappearance of H2. Similarly, rate of formation of HCl is 2 times the rate of disappearance of chlorine. That's why to write the equal sign among these, we write minus delta H2 divided by delta T is equal to minus delta Cl2 divided by delta T. But for 1 mole and 1 mole, there will be 2 moles, that's why it is half of delta for HCl divided by delta T. Here the one important information. If you consider rate of formation of HCl as delta HCl by delta T, it will be 2 times the decrease in the concentration of H2. That's why it will be 2 times minus delta H2 by delta T is equal to delta HCl by delta T. That's why we write minus delta H2 by delta T is equal to minus delta Cl2 by delta T is equal to half of delta HCl by delta T. So this is one particular example for the disappearance of hydrogen and chlorine to give rise to HCl. Now let us consider some more examples. For this formation of ammonia, for the formation of ammonia, we can write the reaction N2 plus 3H2 giving rise to 2NH3. N2 plus 3H2 giving rise to 2NH3. When you write the decrease in the concentration of N2, it is minus delta N2 by delta T. And for hydrogen, we write minus delta H2 divided by delta T. For ammonia, we write delta NH3 divided by delta T. This is the velocities with respect to individual substances. Okay. For disappearance of nitrogen, for disappearance of hydrogen, for formation of the ammonia. But when we want to equate these, we write this as minus delta N2 by delta T is equal to, here there is a factor 3, that's why it is minus 1 by 3 delta H2 by delta T is equal to, here ammonia has got 2 as a factor, so it is 1 by 2 delta NH3 by delta T. Just observe, rate of formation of ammonia is 2 times the rate of disappearance of nitrogen. Suppose you take only this part and this part. Delta NH3 by delta T is equal to 2 times minus delta N2 by delta T. Similarly, rate of disappearance of hydrogen is 3 times. So therefore, delta H2 by delta T with minus sign is equal to 3 times minus delta N2 by delta T. So in general, suppose you have got A times reactant A plus B times reactant B giving rise to C times product C and D times product D. This small a, B, C, D indicate the stoichiometric coefficients. That is number of moles of the reactants and products involved in the balanced chemical equation. So to write the velocity expressions equating one another, so we write this as minus 1 by A delta A by delta T. That will be equal to minus 1 by B delta B by delta T. That is equal to 1 by C delta C divided by delta T. That is equal to 1 by D delta B divided by delta T. In other words, when we want to equate the velocities of each of the reactant and product, you divide by the stoichiometric coefficient, the number of moles involved in the balanced chemical equation. So this is a general equation for the average velocity in case of the chemical reactions. Even though we consider so much explanation, average velocity finds much less application in chemical kinetics. It is because the average velocity has no significance. Suppose I travel a distance of about 300 kilometers in about 5 hours. The average speed will be 60 km per hour. But it is indicating an average speed. We cannot travel with the same speed. Sometimes we will be having high speed, sometimes we will be having low speed. So it just gives an average idea, but not exactly the speed at a particular instant. That's why we will go for the instantaneous velocity for most of the reactions. This instantaneous velocity is defined as the velocity at any particular time interval or a very small interval of time or at any particular instant. So to understand this one, again consider this same graph, that is concentration versus time. Again you consider the reactant concentration as A, product concentration as concentration of B. Now I want to measure a particular velocity at a particular time interval or instant. Then to calculate the instantaneous velocity at that particular time, you consider that point on the concentration, draw a tangent like this. For this reactant, this is the tangent at this particular time. Then you take the slope of this tangent. In mathematics, we call this slope as the tan theta. So you calculate the tan theta, you will be getting this slope. For this change in the concentration, let us say this is small change in concentration dA. This is small change in time dt. Then the instantaneous velocity, generally we call it as velocity only. Velocity is given as minus dA by dt. So minus stands for the decrease in the concentration of A as the time progresses. So minus dA by dt indicates the velocity with respect to reactant. Suppose I want to measure the product velocity with respect to product at this particular time interval t. Then you again draw a tangent at that particular time like this. Again take this slope. When you calculate this concentration change dB and this small change in time interval dt, then again we write the velocity as plus dB by dt. Sometimes we need not write the plus sign because without the plus sign also it is dB. When you consider the overall velocity of a reaction, for any such general reaction, we can write velocity is equal to minus or plus or minus dC by dt, where dC stands for change in concentration of a reactant or a product and dt stands for the change in time. Plus sign indicates with respect to the product, minus sign indicates with respect to the reactant. Since the concentration of the reactant gradually decreases, it is indicated with the minus dC by dt. With respect to the product, as the concentration increases, we indicate it as plus dC by dt. So that is about the velocity, average velocity and instantaneous velocity. Now let us consider the factors affecting the velocity of the reaction. So generally now onwards we will consider only instantaneous velocity rather than average velocity. So that instantaneous velocity is the change in this concentration of a reactant or a product in a small interval of time. Now let us consider these factors affecting the rate of reaction. We consider four important factors. Those four important factors which affect the rate of reaction are: the first one is concentration. In first year, you study concentration in terms of expressed in terms of mole per decimeter cube or mole per liter. And these concentrations are usually indicated as molar concentrations, which is indicated with capital M. Then the second factor is the temperature. The third factor is the catalyst. Fourth factor is the physical state of the substance. Usually we study only first three in this particular chapter, but you remember the effect of this physical state. As the size of the particle decreases, the rate of the reaction increases. So as the size of the particle decreases, the surface area increases. Okay. So for these four factors, the detailed explanation we will see in the next video.